in pretty fast and furious, so we'll just keep waiting.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. For those of you who are on the call, just to introduce you to our panelists, we have Diana Ligas, our Dean of Students, who I'm very grateful that she set up this webinar for us, and with her experience with moderating something like this. We have our two PTO co-presidents, Shazia Manikia and Sasha Weinstein, on the call, and they will be talking to our parents and guardians in the webinar tonight about different ways you could get involved in our learning community. We also have Joanna Canty-Ware representing CPAG tonight. She'll be speaking on behalf of our special education parents PTO. We have Naperna Shah. Naperna Shah works in our school counseling office. She's a college and career specialist, and she really helps the students focus on that aspect of their high school career. It helps a lot with our seniors applying to colleges. We have Brian Dubinsky, our athletic director and a member of our administrative team, on the call. We also have our new director of school counseling, Dana Karras, who's on the call as well, another member of our administrative team. We have Stephanie Greenberg, one of our assistant principals, our newest assistant principal and a member of the PHS administrative team. We also have Sandra Moskovitz, who is in charge of a PTO subcommittee on sustainability, which is very important to us as a learning community. And we also have Alina Anayat, our student representative for our PHS New Students and Transfer Students Club. So thank you for our panelists who are here. Thank you for giving us part of your evening and being here to show our solidarity as a learning community. At this point, just to let everyone know, we still have people joining, but this is being recorded. And at the end of our presentation, we are going to make this available to the public, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow we'll put it on the PHS webpage so everyone has access to it. If you want to rewatch it, if you missed something, we could also put up the actual presentation on the webpage in case you want to go through the presentation at your leisure. As you have questions, you feel free to use the Q&A feature. We are going to be keeping track of the questions. We will not be answering the questions tonight, but we'll review the questions as a team and come up with a frequently asked questions and answers document that we should have available to you all early next week. So if you have any friends or neighbors who wanted to be at the webinar tonight and they weren't able to attend, please assure them that it's being recorded and they'll be able to see it very soon. At this point, I'm going to share my screen and we'll begin our presentation. Okay. So this, so you're all aware, I'm Frank Schmiel, I'm the new principal, and I've been a member of the Princeton community for, I'm coming into my 28th year. I was really blessed to be able to come to Princeton University, and I came actually as a married student, believe it or not. And once my wife and I got here and saw how beautiful Princeton was, and coming from Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is very different, much more urban, definitely a different environment, we said, this is where we want to stay and this is where we want to raise our family. And here we are 28 years later, and it's still extremely happy and proud to be a part of the Princeton community. Just even driving around town today, just looking at like our beautiful town, if you wanted to look at the trees or if you want to look at the shops on Nassau Street and our wonderful school, there's just so much to be proud of. So just a little bit about me. Just so you know, I regard myself as the learning leader. I love learning new things, and I've always had it in me that whenever I learn things, I like to teach it to other people and share my knowledge. And I think it's very important as the principal of the school to model learning and a love of learning. And that's something that we want to instill in all faculty, staff, and students, is to love learning. I believe that I have a personal calling to reach and teach all learners, and that's what every staff member in our school should be dedicated to, reaching and teaching all learners. We really have to connect with our students. In our school, this is going to be a place where students, faculty, staff, and families feel heard and where they're known, valued, and respected. We're going to have regular rituals and routines for meetings. I'm going to be at various different focus groups, from PTO to Not in Our Town, to a focus group with our Asian families, to a focus group with our Black American families, and a focus group with our Latino families. I want all members of our learning community to feel heard and to know that they're known, valued, and respected. In terms of students, we have a student advisory committee that we've established. We started to set it up at the end of June, and we've had a meeting over the summer, and we'll meet monthly with our student advisory committee. They're going to be very important in providing a lot of guidance from the students' perspective. And we also have a faculty and staff advisory committee known as the Solutions Committee. Dana Karras, who's a member of our administrative team, and we were colleagues in Franklin together. We were on the same administrative team over there. She could speak to our how active our Solutions Committee was and our Student Advisory Committee was in making some of the positive changes we wanted to see at Franklin High School. And that speaks to this point here. I really believe that all the members of our learning community, starting with our students, our faculty, staff, our families, need to participate in the leadership of the school. And by doing that, everyone feels a sense of ownership in the learning community. I want our students and our faculty and staff and our families to really feel a sense of pride in being a PHS Tiger. I had spoken to my daughters who are class of 2013 and 2015 from Princeton High School. You know, when you guys were in school, did you call yourselves the Tigers? And they were like, no, we didn't call ourselves the Tigers. There was a little bit of a thing with, a little thing with the university, and the university was kind of being protective of the Tigers. And as a result, for a little while, we were being called the Little Tigers. So I could understand as a school community saying, not wanting to say we're the Little Tigers, we're Princeton. But I think the university, with its billion-dollar endowment and how famous and prestigious it is, can accept that there are other Tigers in town, and we're emulating them. We're the PHS Tigers. So that idea of having pride in the school, and in talking with the student advisory committee, that was something they said, is they want to feel that pride in their school. And I think one of the ways we do that is by involving them in the leadership, being as an administrative team, being highly visible with our students, maintaining open door policies, to meeting with faculty, staff, students, making sure we're meeting to our families and we're visible in the community. Those things will help to build that trust that will lead to greater pride in the school. And I believe that school should be a place of joy, that while it should be a place of intellectual challenge, there should be a sense of joy in coming to school and just being happy to be here. Those are some of the things that I stand for as a principal. As far as an overview of this evening, I want to give you an introduction to the PHS admin team. I want to talk about our commitments. I'm going to echo the commitments that Dr. Kelly, our superintendent, has spoken about in some of her presentations. I think it's very important as a high school that we show unity and an alignment to what we're trying to do as a district. So we're all rowing in the same direction. We're going to talk a bit about the PHS daily schedule. I will be speaking to you about how we're continuing our COVID-19 protocols, even though we're in person. I will talk about our schedule. There'll be a spot where our PHS PTO and special education PTO and some of our subcommittee chairs will be speaking to you all and how you could get involved. We're going to talk about some of our upcoming events. I'll have Diana Ligas, our Dean of Students, speak about some of the things that she's working on, and we'll have some closing remarks. And just as a reminder, if you've just joined us, if you're curious about anything, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature in the Zoom, and we will keep track of the questions, look at them as a team, and then we'll come out with a frequently asked questions and responses document that'll be available for everyone early next week. For any of you joining us who missed the announcement, this is being recorded. And so if you have any friends who have students at Princeton High School, but they just couldn't make it to the webinar tonight, please assure them that it's being recorded. It will be posted on the high school webpage, and we'll also make the presentation available on the webpage if you just wanted to look through, or and your friends wanted to look through the presentation yourselves. One thing you'll learn about me is that team is very, very important. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. So it's, having a united team, administrative team for PHS, is huge. The fact that like every Friday, you'll see the PHS administrative team wearing the school colors or wearing tiger wear. We've been doing it all summer long. And that's something we're pushing with our faculty and staff. And we're pretty confident that they're going to rally behind that, and also getting our teams and our different clubs wearing the gear associated with their clubs, which will have the school colors in it. Doing that every Friday, making every Friday a Princeton Friday, will help to galvanize us as a learning community. Also part of our administrative team are our 3 assistant principals, Cecilia Burge, Rashawn Johnson, and, Stephanie Greenberg, you're on a call. I'm sorry, I didn't edit that. Stephanie Greenberg. Let me go to the next slide. Stephanie Greenberg is our other assistant principal, the newest member of our administrative team. The assistant principals are very, very important to the running of our school. Besides seeing them in the hallways, and them, building these relationships with students and checking on them at morning arrival, checking the students in at the end of the day, making sure students are getting on the buses and getting to their cars. They are vital, and I want to publicly recognize them for all the hard work that they've been doing on our master schedule. Usually master scheduling is handled either by your director of school counseling or your principal, but kind of coming in on July 1st, which is when I started officially, and our former director of school counseling had to leave midsummer, and Ms. Karras will not be joining the team officially until September 29th, when Franklin releases her so that she could be with us and be a PHS Tiger. The assistant principals have really jumped in. They've worked well beyond the school day, working into the hours of the night. I'd also like to publicly recognize one of our lead school counselor, Adam Rothschild. I don't think he's on the call because he's probably working on scheduling with Mr. Johnson and with Ms. Burge at the moment, but he's been a rock for us as we've been working to finish up our master schedule, and Diana Ligas as well, kind of going beyond. Usually a dean of students doesn't get involved in that, but in that spirit of team and getting this done so that our students could see their schedule, she's been also working extra duty on the schedule. So I want to thank our assistant principals, Ms. Burge, Mr. Johnson, and Ms. Greenberg. Our assistant principals are also attached to different departments in the school. So for example, Ms. Burge will be working with fine visual and performing arts as well as world languages. So should you ever have difficulty kind of reaching one of the teachers for those departments or the supervisor for those departments, know that you could also reach the assistant principals for the departments. And in case you forget which departments our assistant principals are attached to, remember, this presentation is going to be posted on the PHS webpage, and the whole presentation is being recorded. Our assistant principals also get assigned to specific parts of the alphabet. And that they will cover grades 9 through 12. So Ms. Burge, her section of the alphabet is A through G. Mr. Johnson will be working with our health and phys ed education. He also is associated with our building safety, our building monitors, and his student assignments are H through O. And then Ms. Greenberg will be working with our humanities departments. She is our former humanities supervisor, and many positive things were happening in that department in terms of moving us toward greater equity and inclusion. And she wanted to stay associated with that work, and that married very well with how we like to have our assistant principals working with academic departments. Ms. Greenberg will also be working with English as a second language, and her student assignments are P through Z. The other members of our PHS administrative team include Crystal Riddick, where she is our supervisor for special education. She has assistant principal experience when she lived in Illinois, and she's going to be a very valuable member of the administrative team, making sure to represent, the perspectives of our special education teachers, our special education students, and our child study team case managers. You've met Diana Ligas, our Dean of Students. She's very involved in school spirit activities, our clubs, our orientations. Brian Dubinsky, is our athletic director. It's very important to involve your athletic director as a member of the administrative team. We're sensitive to Mr. Dubinsky's different hours. As an AD, may be here till 10 or 11 o'clock at night after, athletic events. But he is always a part of our administrative meetings, and his perspectives and kind of representing the athletes and the coaches' perspectives is vital. He's also our supervisor of health and physical education, and so he works with our health and PE teachers, and he'll be partnering up with Mr. Johnson in that respect. And then, of course, I've spoken about Ms. Karras, who is our incoming director of school counseling. Very important to have your director of school counseling on the administrative team. And we are very happy to serve our PHS learning community. We're here for you. And just as a reminder, every Friday is a Princeton Friday. So any students on the call, I know you want to be cool, teenagers, it's a thing about being cool, but we want to create a climate where school spirit is actually cool. And if you're one of our athletes, or you're heavily involved in clubs and activities, or you're on student council, you're a leader. Whether you like it or not, you are a leader. And so you have to model these expectations. And if we pull together as a learning community, rallying behind school spirit, just throw it on every Friday. Just make that your mantra. Every Friday is a Princeton Friday, and you'll get with it. You don't always have to have the tiger wear every Friday, but even if it's blue and white, work that into your tire. We would really appreciate that. So here's a point where I want to show our marriage with our district goals and our district vision. This hashtag building on the best, we're going to include that in a lot of what we're doing. It's something that Dr. Kelly it's very important to her, because let's face it, Princeton High School is an amazing school. It's fantastic. Of course, like any organization, there's always room for improvement. There's room for improvement for us as a district. There's room for improvement for us as a high school, but we have a wonderful high school with an amazing faculty and staff and extraordinary students. That's why we're always in these top rankings, but it's not all about rankings. Rankings are important in some respect, but really it's about, are we growing as a learning community? Are we finding the areas in which we need to improve and making improvements together? So the idea of having exemplary inclusive instruction, really that's something we're going to emphasize with our faculty and staff. get to know your students as people. That's actually a part of how they get evaluated in the evaluation instrument that we use. Are you knowledgeable about your students, not just in your classroom and how they learn in your classroom, but what they're doing outside the classroom? Do you know their interests, their hobbies? Are they athletes? Do they work a part-time job? Are they into the arts, the performing arts? Are they taking care of younger siblings to help parents out? We don't know, but unless you take the time to know your students, and we believe that you could leverage that for better instruction, meeting the needs of every learner. We're all about developing meaningful partnerships with families and our communities. And if you got onto this webinar a little bit later, one of the things that you're going to see the PHS admin team members at our different community functions. We are going to be involved with all different members of our community and community organizations, highly visible, because we believe that by building those partnerships, that's ultimately going to benefit our students. We believe in being a well-rounded school. So I personally, as an athlete, every member of the administrative team has been involved in organized athletics, every one of the team. So we all know what it's like, the sacrifice of athletics, making practices, sacrificing for the team, performing at games. But we also believe in the importance of the arts and music and language. And these are things that Princeton prides itself on. So we believe in being a well-rounded learning community. And once again, getting to that point of known, valued, and respected. Every learner feels like they belong and they feel like they're thriving in our learning environment. So in order to accomplish these things, one of our commitments is to support staff learning opportunities. If we want to talk to the staff about how to build closer relationships with students, how to teach in a culturally and linguistically responsive way, so that no matter what culture, what background the student comes from, that they feel like they belong in the classroom and that they don't want to leave the classroom, that they want to be there and be a part of that community. That has to come through our staff learning opportunities and professional development. One of the things that goes along with that is commitment to having engaging lessons that lead to deeper learning for our students. Commitment 3, facilitating community building and establishing routines and rituals. So we talk about our Princeton Fridays. We talk about wearing the school colors, something that we're eager to bring back this year. Pep rallies, having a pep rally for every athletic season, because that's important. It's learning beyond the classroom, learning how to be a community, how to appreciate the achievements of our different sports, our different clubs, and having fun together so that students feel that this is a fun and a joyful place to be. So that's commitment 3. And commitment 4, taking a look at the data. Quantitative data that comes from test results, comes from things like common assessments among classes, but also qualitative data. How are our students feeling? How are our families feeling? How are our faculty, staff feeling? And what do we need to do to make our learning community even better? So there is support for our students, really wraparound support. And some of the people who are going to be involved in that, you're going to be hearing from them. But we have over 140 faculty members. Students, in the past, we know that students have built close learning relationships with their teachers. They go to their teachers with their problems. Their teachers provide support or direct them to the appropriate supports. 3 assistant principals, 7 school counselors, a dean of students, a student assistance coordinator, Michelle Simborski, and a coordinator of community and family services. We're really looking to bring together all the diverse parts of our learning community so that everyone feels a sense of belonging. So at this point, I'd like for Bethany Andrade Sadiq, who is our coordinator of student services and community outreach, to share a few remarks. Bethany, if you could unmute yourself, please. No, we had Bethany on the call. Has anyone seen Bethany? If not, that's, let me just check my text and see if Bethany was texting me. Nope, no text from Bethany. Sorry about that. So I'm not sure. I know that earlier she had an issue with getting on. So just to talk a little bit about what Bethany Sadiq does. So this is a position for those of you who are veterans to, oh wait, I did get a text from Bethany. Bear with me one second. I'm here. Bethany, are you able to unmute yourself? Are you on as a panelist or not? It is possible we didn't have you on as a panelist. Ms. Ligas, do you know if there's a,
I definitely sent her it, but maybe she didn't get it because she's brand new and her email might be off.
can you find her among the participants and unmute her? I'm sorry, Bethany.
Let me see. I
Let's see.
I can't actually see who is in here or not.
Oh, goes, I'll take a look. I see her. I'm gonna unmute her now. I think I'm able. Am I able? You all could see what I'm doing. I'm modeling some of my learning here. How do I unmute her? Anyone? I feel like the
Oh,
guy.
I see. You have to click the little red microphone.
Wow, I don't see the red
Ms.
mic.
Ligas, I
Yes,
think you
sir.
could promote her as a panelist. If you highlight her, you
All
should
right,
be
so
able to
hold on.
promote her.
Hold on right here. Here she comes.
There she comes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dubinsky.
Did it work? Was she promoted? I promoted her.
She was promoted.
Here she goes.
Hello. Can you guys see me now and hear me? Okay.
Bethany, yay. It just shows perseverance and team problem solving.
Thanks all.
Absolutely, in the midst of technology, but thank you all. So like Mr. Shamel said, I am new to the Princeton High School community as a staff member, but not new to Princeton as a community. I grew up here in Princeton. I attended elementary, middle school, and high school. So I'm a proud grad, and I'm excited to be able to wear my blue and white on Fridays. That's great. So again, welcome to all of the parents, and I look forward to meeting some of the students. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of my role. I put the title as my role and how I can help, because that's really what my role is about, is being a help. And the three umbrellas of me being able to offer help and support is students, family, and community. So I highlighted under students just some main organizations that I'm going to be the advisor for. So MSAN, Pulse, Teen Pep, and something new to the district is our participation in the National Equity Project, which I'm sure all of you will learn more about. So I will be serving as one of the district leads for that, as well as providing some college preparation and post-grad planning for some of our students that need that extra support. And then in regards to family, so it's not just about the student, it's also about parents reaching out if they are struggling with housing or anything else that may impact the student's well-being. And then this is just kind of my contact information. I wanted to make sure that, oh, we're back to the other slide.
I'm sorry, Bethany. Got a little trigger finger there.
So the other piece is the community piece, which again was mentioned, the importance of aligning that community. So another piece of my role is to be that liaison and to work really closely with some of our well-known organizations to, again, help our students and our families. So next slide. So I just wanted to provide my contact information. Again, I know I'll be working with so many of you guys on different levels, but this is my email that I just got yesterday. My extension is to be determined, but of course you can reach me by contacting the main line, and then my room is room 152. So I look forward to working with all of you this coming year.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sadiq. I'm glad you were able to be on tonight. And I love the fact that we have PHS alums coming back here to serve in our learning community. I think that's fantastic. So at this point, I want to provide you all with just some practical information that's very important to our daily operation. So the first day of school is Thursday, September 9th. We are going to start with our homeroom day schedule. You can find our schedules if you go to the Princeton High School website and you look at the drop downs, you'll find Bell schedule. And there you could see our regular A through D, E, and F schedule. We're going back to our pre-pandemic schedule. But also there's a second page to those schedules that talks to you about our special schedule days. And we are going to start September 9th and September 10th, that Thursday and Friday, with a homeroom day schedule. And you can see that. And we'll make sure to communicate that through Sunday night phone blasts and email blasts. So you'll be reminded about that. Class starts at 8:20. That's wonderful. So you all know that's really a late start time when you look at so many districts around us. Ms. Karras and I are used to starting our school day at 7:20. We would be there at 6:50 and you'd see all these poor sleepy teenagers, really, really tired, swiping in at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was tough. This is wonderful that we have an 8:20 start time. So we do encourage our students to get here sometime between 8 and 8:15. And students this year are going to have to go through a process of sort of checking in the morning. And we'll talk about that in the next bullet point. For the time being, there is no remote learning option for students. The only exception is if we have students who have to quarantine because of COVID-19, that we are working on plans on how to provide hybrid instruction for them. But at this point, it's an expectation that all students will be coming for in-person learning. We'll be using multiple entrances to admit students to school each day. In the past, we were using 2 entrances. We were using the main lobby and the PAC lobby entrance. In order to facilitate morning arrival, we're also going to be opening up 2 of our exterior doors, one by the room 118 intersection that's very close to the Learning Commons Library Hall. That's for those of you who are new to Princeton High School. That's what we call our Library Media Center. We call it the Learning Commons. So there'll be one exterior door open there and another exterior door that's open by the humanities entrance, which is an entrance by the teacher's parking lot. And students will be expected to provide their name or student ID number as they're entering. Hopefully it'll only take 5 to 10 seconds per student. And we will check in PowerSchool to make sure that they have completed their COVID-19 pre-screening questionnaire. It is fine if, as parents, we believe that our students are growing, they're maturing, they're getting closer to being adults. As long as you feel comfortable with them filling out the COVID-19 pre-screening questionnaire in PowerSchool that comes out every day. If they forget to do it, they are not allowed to come in. They have to actually stop there, complete the pre-screening questionnaire, and then they prove that they've done it, and then they'll be admitted into the building. Same thing with faculty and staff. What we want to do is we want to make sure, with the rise in COVID cases, anyone who's coming into our building and going into classrooms and walking around our building, that they've completed the COVID-19 pre-screening questionnaire before getting any further than our entrances that we're opening up. That's why we're opening more entrances, and we'll have staff members watching those entrances, including members of our administrative team, myself included, watching the PowerSchool, checking to make sure that all our faculty and staff and students have done that COVID-19 pre-screening. So we are returning to our bell schedule. Just a reminder, in case you missed it, this bell schedule, you could find it on the Princeton High School webpage. You just have to look at the drop down. You'll see bell schedules. You could download it onto your electronic devices for your reference. There's the regular schedule, which you see in front of you, A through D days, and then E and F days. The difference between them, the A through D days are 44-minute periods. The E and F days actually drop half of the classes each day so that we could have longer learning periods. Remember, one of our commitments, commitment number 2, having more differentiated instruction that engages learners and leads to deeper learning. So that's the purpose for having those longer periods on the E and F days. Our schedule has a rotation to it. So in case you're not familiar, the schedule has been around for a few years now, and it's the result of extensive collaboration among stakeholders. School leadership, faculty, staff, students, and families all had a voice and some say in the development of this schedule. Shown here, I just have the A through D days, but this helps you to see it a little more closely. We want to maximize instructional time while allowing for social emotional wellness of our students. So you'll notice morning break built in there, a chance for our students to catch a breath instead of just constantly moving to the next class. We also have a common lunch. Some school districts call it a unit lunch, but it's a time when all faculty, staff, and students have lunch. They use classrooms, they use the hallways, they use the cafeteria. We have one part of our construction project this summer was the building of a new satellite, smaller cafe that's grab and go. So this way, not all the students who want to get the school lunch have to go to the cafeteria. They could go to that satellite grab and go. We're also opening the PAC lobby, the Performing Arts Center lobby concession stand as another place where our cafeteria and food services staff will be serving food from. The idea with the rotation of the periods, I don't know if you picked up on that, but if you compare the A and B day, on an A day, you start with period 1, but on a B day, you start with period 2. And notice where period 1 has dropped to. It's dropped to a 10:51 time slot. The idea, for some people at first, they're a little confused. A lot of us come from a traditional schooling experience with a straight 8-period day. But the problem with that is if you're really tired in the morning, even though we start school later, but even if you're tired in the morning, you're always going to be tired in period 1. And period 1 is always going to be deficient of your A game. Or if you happen to be an athlete or involved in another extracurricular that has early dismissal, you always would miss period 8. And so you're always behind in that. The idea with the rotation is that you get to experience these classes at different times of day, different levels of alertness. And if you're involved in extracurriculars that involve early dismissal, you're not always missing the same period of the day, which is a benefit. Master scheduling, in case you're wondering when the schedules are going to be complete for students to see, please understand that it's a very, very complex project and we're dealing with it with huge transition. If you joined the webinar a little bit later, one of the things that we said is usually your director of school counseling or your building principal has developed the master schedule, and that would have been started. That process gets started like January, February of the preceding school year when you're having the students put in their course selections and what they want to have. Seeing as I didn't join the district officially until July 1st, and our former director of school counseling, leaving mid-summer, and Ms. Karras will be joining us in late September, the PHS administrative team has had to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And people who have traditionally not been involved in master scheduling, like the assistant principals, like our dean of students, like our lead school counselor, have been working many late hours to make sure we get that master schedule done. And it's very complicated because when you're creating those science lab periods, and marrying them with an appropriate health or phys ed class, because you don't want to put that phys ed class and there'll be 50 students in a PE class. So those things have to sync together. So they are working many extra hours and they should be ready. The master scheduling should be complete by early next week so that students could see it. So, you know, if we have students on the call, parents on the call, we're not going to be doing discretionary changes within the first 2 weeks of school. That will only be talked about possibly on September 20th. It's due to the complexity of the scheduling. I just talked to you about how hard that is. And you have class sizes, class caps, the availability of teachers and teaching space, all coupled with the challenges of opening in the school while a pandemic is still going on. The best advice that we received from people who are experienced with master scheduling is to hold off on any discretionary changes. If there's an issue with that and the student has really given it that first 2 weeks and they're just not, there's problems with the class they have, then they can make appointments with their school counselors. However, if a student has a glaring error in the schedule, for example, no phys ed class, and phys ed is a state requirement that you have 4 years of phys ed, or an English class, some version of an English class, also have to have 4 years of that. Some major scheduling error, those types of things can be addressed by the school counselors inside of that 2 week period in those first couple of days, or the next week, which is a full week of school. Or the next week of school. Health and safety is very important. And we know that some of you as parents, guardians, and students on the call, you're nervous about coming back to school. You were a remote student last year, and this year you have to come in for in-person instruction. We are going to be wearing masks around the building. Any common areas, we're going to be wearing masks around the building. We are going to be observing physical distancing to the greatest extent possible that our space will allow. Thinking back to the unit lunch, the lunch break time period, we have the whole building to spread out in. We're going to be using outdoors as well. A lot of you know now, Governor Murphy has did an executive order instituting vaccination or else a testing requirement 1 to 2 times a week and showing the results of being negative for COVID-19. So we're taking the health and safety of our students, our faculty and staff very seriously. Physical distancing will be observed as much as possible. One positive note, at first we were not going to allow hallway lockers. We want you to know we have changed our minds on that. We are going to allow hallway lockers for students. So students will get assigned with their schedules a hallway locker and a combination number to open that locker. And there will be support throughout the process in case lockers don't work. And like I said, you're going to receive a lot of communication. Sunday phone blasts, Sunday email blasts, phone blasts, and text blasts to keep you in the loop on all these different things. Some classes will meet outdoors, weather permitting. When students take off their masks, they're only going to be taking that off to eat or drink, and they're going to be expected to distance themselves from other students even more. The PHS admin team, dean of students, we're going to be circulating through the hallways and doing our best to enforce all physical distancing. Opening the large parts of the campus, I mentioned multiple areas to serve lunch from. If students want to get the school lunch, students are also invited to bring their own lunch from home. And teachers conducting performing arts classes that involve singing or blowing into musical instruments will be doing those outdoors. Right now, we've maintained 2 of the big tents on the front lawn. If you've driven by, you've seen them. We are working to bring back 2 more of the tents on the front lawn and 1 more that was on the corner of Houghton, which many of you saw that smaller tent on the corner of Houghton. At this point, I've spoken a lot. Thank you for your patience and listening to me. I'd like to have Diana Ligas, our Dean of Students, please speak about how students can get involved.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our new families and our old families. It's wonderful to have you here. I'm so excited to welcome you into the new year for Princeton High School. Student involvement is very near and dear to my heart at PHS. I like to think that our clubs and our community service programs and our arts programs and all those extracurriculars are really, including athletics, are the heart of Princeton High School, and a lot of how our students express their passions and really get involved and make it really enthusiastic time at PHS. So with that said, one of the things I do is I run the clubs at Princeton High School. We have about 125 to 150 clubs each school year. Just to put that into perspective, we start each school year with 0. And in August, the students have to submit a club request to me. Those club requests get approved, and then they're on their way to recruiting members, marketing, and getting everyone on board to do what they want to do each year. I say that only because sometimes a student will say, oh, my older brother or my older sister was in this club, how come it's not here anymore? And my advice to them is, hey, let's start that club right back up. Our clubs are 100% student driven. So I like to think that there's a club for every student at PHS. And if it's not here, then I encourage the students to start it. In the end of September 29th, that's the date of our PHS Club Fair. Last year, we had that club fair 100% online. So this year, and it wasn't ideal being 100% online, but there were some great parts about it, actually, because students could go back, they could look over it over and over again, they could kind of study, look at the clubs that maybe they missed at the club fair. So I don't actually want to lose the positives that we gained in doing it online last year. So this year we're going to kind of do both. So I'll be asking our student club leaders to create a short video about their club. They'll get me those videos before our club fair. And then on the 29th, we'll have our traditional PHS Club Fair where we have our club leaders at tables and they can talk outside with some of our students to learn how they join their club and what their club's all about. So that's the club fair at the end of September. We also have community service projects at PHS. Dr. Dinan is in our Idea Center and she leads the community service program at PHS. All of our sophomores participate in 50 hours of community service at PHS. She has, I think it's about 100 community service projects. Again, all student-led, all student-driven for students to get involved in throughout the year. So a student will go to the community service project fair if they're a sophomore. It happens about the second week of school, and they'll get to peruse all these different community service projects and check out to see the ones that they want to join themselves. So that's another big thing for our sophomores. Peer group is a huge activity for our 9th grade students. We mentioned our seniors, they actually have a course called peer group. So there's about 60 seniors. These seniors, they applied, they interviewed, and then they were selected to be peer group mentors for our 9th grade students. They participate in a class year long to learn about how they can be great student leaders for our 9th graders. And our 9th graders then get to reap that benefit. So on on F days in our schedules, so if you remember before we have the A, B, C, D schedules, that E and F, those block days, they end a little bit early. The academic schedule ends a little bit early. And at the end of that, there's peer group. So peer group, all of our 9th graders will participate in their peer groups. There's about 15 other students in the group. So they not only have a cohort of 15 9th graders that they get to know, and whether they're from Cranberry or Charter or PMS across the street or a new school altogether, it's a really nice way to get to know some students that you didn't know before, as well as they'll have 2 senior leaders who can kind of guide them through any question that they might have. And lastly, I don't even know if I'm qualified to talk about this when I know Brian Dubinsky's on this Zoom. Brian, do you want to jump in on athletics real quick? I'm not stepping on your toes.
Oh, by no means. We have our fall sports program has been underway since August 9th. And we've been doing many of the health screenings that Mr. Schmiel has talked about. and we've had really good success, and things have been going well. We soon will be starting winter sport athletic registration. We typically will start that around the last week of September. And if you are a transfer student on the call, you visit our website and you can visit all the sports that we have to offer. But we do have swimming, boys and girls swimming. We also have boys and girls ice hockey. We have boys basketball, girls basketball, wrestling, and winter track. And we also have boys fencing and girls fencing. So if you didn't get involved in the athletic program this fall, we look forward to seeing you register and for our winter sports program. But we hope to see everyone come out. We're not going to be screening spectators this year outdoors. Masks are not going to be required outdoors for outdoor sports, but they are going to be required for our girls volleyball home games that are going to be indoors. So any spectators that do come are going to need to mask up. But if you do have any questions on a personal level, please feel free to email me, briandisbinski@princetonk12.org, and I'll be happy to answer your questions about our athletic program. Thank you, Ms. Ligas.
You got it. Thank you. He definitely said that better than I would. And then I'll just finish up with tomorrow. I'm sure that there's some ninth grade families on here. One of the great things that I get to do at PHS is welcome our ninth graders into the high school. And tomorrow we will have our orientation. I'll just tell you real quickly about what that's going to look like. At 9:30, students can arrive. They will come right here, pretty much where I'm sitting at the high school, and they will grab their folders to the left of me, and they will head to their very first session. All of the students will be assigned to one of 4 sessions throughout the high school, and they'll rotate through. There's a session with Principal Schmiel. There is a session with our school counselors, a session with me, and a session with our assistant principals. So they are going to get some FaceTime with some key members of the school. Also, they will get a student tour led by our peer group leaders, and they will have a treat at the end. So our former program goes, if they get here at 9:30, their very first session starts at 10. It takes them a while to get their folders because there's a lot of kids. The sessions are about 40 minutes each. There's some passing time in each. And then right about 1:15, they'll head to the front lawn, and the Cranberry Municipal Alliance and the Princeton High School PTO have donated lunch for them. So they'll participate in the lunch. And at the same time, they can also head to our tech department. If they are a student who's new to Princeton Public Schools and they haven't received a laptop, then they can go and get their device. The important thing about the device that my tech department would be upset if I didn't speak of is that they need to have that acceptable use policy, which was emailed out earlier this week. And I think it was also emailed out late last week to families. That has to be signed off before they pick up their device. If you have questions regarding the technology at PHS, or if to get that acceptable use policy or anything like that, you can email Parent Help Desk, which is phd@princetonk12.org. So that's a little bit about orientation. Principal Schmiel, did you want to go through the welcome back event, or did you want me to?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go through it, Ms. Ligas. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching Ms. Ligas work on putting all the orientation stuff together, and the amount of pride, but also joy she takes in it is awesome. And I'm personally looking forward to being able to be involved with one of the groups. And my group is going to be learning the alma mater. I'm not going to be teaching it to them. One of our a cappella groups will be working on that, but this is very exciting. But next weekend, next Wednesday will also be very exciting. On September 1st, we are going to host in PHS Tigers Stadium, Welcome Back PHS Tigers event from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. One of the first things I found out about when I coming into the district is that it's an expectation to do something fun and engaging to transition our students back to coming to in-person instruction after being, on remote for so long. So came up with a really great set of activities. We're working with a company who's going to be providing this. There's going to be laser tag, miniature golf, giant inflatable objects, temporary tattoo artists. No, your kid won't come to it and come away with a real tattoo, a mechanical bull, a mentalist, and much, much more. It's going to be awesome. They're coming tomorrow to really take a look at the stadium and where they're going to be putting all of the different items. We'll come up with a schedule for the different grade levels, because we really want any PHS Tiger who wants to come to this to come. If we get all 1,500 students coming out to it, great, because we'll have a schedule for them to cycle through. But there'll be staff members on hand, and we're probably also going to be looking for parent volunteers just to help with the chaperoning of the event. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great evening. Also, Diana Ligas and our peer leaders will be doing info sessions in the building and tours. So these will be for the 10th through the 12th graders, because we're cognizant of the fact that many of our 10th graders have not walked the halls of PHS. So from 4 to 7, like while that's happening, outside, there'll be the info sessions and tours of the building. And then we want our peer leaders to also be able to enjoy the activities outdoors. So I'll put together the schedule that'll come out in a blast over the weekend so that you're aware. But, please tell your children to come on out. It's just pure fun. We have our student advisory group advertising it with their friends. We're going to have our coaches and the sports teams advertising it with their players, that they come out and just enjoy this. This is something, it's a free event for them to come to and have fun. And it's going to go all the way till 10 p.m. We're going to have the lights out there. It's really exciting. At this point, I'd like for Shazia Manikia, one of our PTO co-presidents, to speak to you all about how you could get involved.
Thank you, Frank. As Frank said, my name is Shazia Manikia, and just a little bit about myself. This is my 8th and final year as part of the PHS PTO. I started on here when my eldest started as a freshman. My eldest is now a senior at American University, and my youngest is now a senior at the high school. Just a little housekeeping on this slide are, if you want to get in touch with the PTO, our email address is on the bottom. It's princetonhspto@gmail.com. And the QR code on the corner is the direct link to our website. If you go on the school's website and under the parents tab, you'll also see the link to our website. Our website right now we are working on redesigning it, making more user-friendly and full of information and resources for our parents. After some feedback from parents, we found out that sometimes they just don't know where to find information. And sometimes if there's 2 or 3 places for them to find the same information, hopefully one of them will stick for them. So please visit our websites. We hope to be updating it as much as possible. So what does the PTO do? We work hand in hand with the administration and people in the community to help your students, to help the students to do community building events, bring in speakers. We help the school out with small capital programs. Like if you've been in the school, there's a set of seating bleachers that we help to cover. We've in the past paid for resources for the Learning Commons. We help with, sometimes you don't know, in other grade levels, you'll know this is a PTO event. At the high school, there's really no such thing as a PTO event. All events are PTO events because we're involved in almost everything in the school. The best way for you to support the PTO is voluntary donations. We don't do PTO fundraisers. You will not find us having a bake sale or any type of thing like that. We purely are ask for voluntary donations, and any amount is welcome. We ask for $40 per student. If you can give $100 or more, obviously that allows us to do more in school. Donations are taken, you can do it through PayPal on our website, or you can mail them in directly to school. And the one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, at some point during a school year, every student, every faculty member will be touched by something the PTO is helping out with. So, you know, a lot of parents worry that, well, is my kid really going to benefit from this? Yes, at some point during that school year, your child will benefit from your contribution to the PTO. How do I stay informed? We love for you to come to our meetings. We try to make our meetings as interesting as possible. Frank or the assistant principal, somebody from the administrative team comes to every meeting to give a monthly update, to answer questions, to just kind of hear from parents as well. We try, and we love, the PTO can only be as strong as the community behind it. So we love to hear back from the parents, what you want to hear more about, what is on your mind. We also ask you to visit our website. Like I said, it's a work in progress. We're trying to put as much information on there. Also, staying informed, we put in something weekly into the Tiger Tribune, which is another way to stay informed as well. That usually comes out sometime between Friday and Saturday. We always have something in there, whether we're looking for volunteers, whether we have an opening available on our board, and that is also on our website as well. And we are looking for secretary if anybody's interested. But and we also have a closed Facebook group. So it's called Princeton High Parent Connection. It is a closed group in the sense that we ask you to fill out a few membership questions. We verify that you are a current parent. And once we're able to verify that, you're welcome. And it's a great place for parents to ask simple questions. Like I had posted this morning about this meeting. People had questions about it being recorded. If you want to know more about a class, you want to brag that your child did a great thing in band, it's really just to build great community. And just lastly, our first PTO meeting is going to be virtual. It's September 22nd at 7 p.m. We'll send out more information as that comes closer. But we welcome anything, you know, we are here for the families and the students. So anything, if you have a great idea, please do not hesitate to come to us. If you have questions and you're trying to get an answer and you're not getting it, please come to us. You know, we've been here, Sasha and I, my co-president, we've been in the school, we are parents, and we're here to serve and help you. Thank you. Our next speaker is from the Special Education Parent Advisory Group, and that's Joanna Cantivier.
Thank you, Shazia. Hi, I'm Joanna Cantivier. I am the co-president of the Special Education Parent Advisory Group, also known as Princeton CPAG. You previously may have known of us as the Princeton Special Education PTO. We changed our name over the summer because every district is required to have a CPAG, and we wanted to align ourselves with that mission. So the CPAG is a district-wide parent-led organization. We are at every school in the district. We aim to represent the interests of the nearly 1 in 5 students who receive special education services or accommodations in the district from pre-K through high school. And our purpose is to offer input to the district on systemic issues to improve the policies, programs, and services for students with IEPs and Section 504 plans. We do this mainly by soliciting parent feedback. So there are many ways that you can connect with us if you want to offer your input, and we welcome positive input as well as negative. You know, if there's something that's really working great for you at the high school that you wish you'd had at the middle school, by all means, please let us know, because we want to make sure that we're sharing best practices and not just problems, but we obviously do want to hear about problems as well. So the ways to connect with us are, we have a CPAG parent liaison at the school. She's starting this year. It's Olga Barbanel, who is a 9th grade daughter. Her email's right there, so you can connect with her. Our other co-president is Ginny Bryant, who you may know. She has an 11th grade daughter at PHS, so you can connect with her as well. And then you can email us at our general email, which is princetoncpag@gmail.com. We have a website that we update regularly and a Facebook page. And then we offer a monthly newsletter. which you can find, if you email us, you can subscribe to it, or you can find it in the Tiger Tribune, which is published by the high school every week. We will be publicizing some parent education events coming up soon. We also offer some coffee talks on the weekends. We try to make our meetings really accessible. We try to have things on evenings and on weekends when families can participate, and we also are staying virtual for right now. Finally, I want to mention one thing that's not on our slide right there is that we are looking for a student liaison, so we can make sure that student voices are included in the input we provide as well. So if you have a student or are a student with an IEP or 504 plan who might be interested, please email us for more details. This is a really great opportunity to build self-advocacy skills and to get involved. And finally, now I just want to turn things over to Sasha Weinstein.
Hi, thank you. I am PTO co-president with Shasia, and it's my third year being co-president at the high school. And prior to that, I was at the Cranberry board for 5 years and 2 years as president. And I have a oldest that graduated and is at Indiana University, and my youngest is entering 9th grade at the high school. So they'll be at orientation tomorrow. The two parent founders, Nettie Otto and Kara Martin, couldn't be here tonight to talk about the New Family Initiative. So I'm speaking on their behalf. This is such an amazing support group for new families that have transferred to our high school from other school districts, states, and countries. The Welcome Committee works through an ambassador program where the current PHS parents are matched with new families to help and guide them. They host about 4 gatherings throughout the school year to talk about Power School, Naviance, graduation requirements, and college and community resources. And they always have time at the end for What's on Your Mind Q&A session. And I've been part of their group as an ambassador, as a member for about 3 years now. And I think I have learned so much more since it was my first child going through the high school. And high school feels like foreign territory when it's your first time high school parent. I know it was like that for me. And it was just so wonderful to hang out with other parents and ask questions to more experienced parents, and also just help out whenever I can in the group. So please come and join this amazing parent support group and consider maybe being an ambassador to new families. And if you're a new transfer family, please sign up and get an experienced family to help you along. You'll have a lot of fun, meet amazing parents just from all over the world. And if you're interested, please submit your interest form on their website, which is found in the our PTO main webpage. And they also have a Facebook group called PHS New Families and Friends. So thank you. And next is, I would like to introduce to the PHS student who's involved the transfer club, and her name is.
It's Alina Anayat.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so my name
Sasha.
is Alina. I'm currently a senior in high school, and I am the leader of the PHS Transfer Student Club, which is a club that basically helps new students and their families transition into PHS and the Princeton community, which we do by helping new students register for sports they might be interested in. We help them find clubs and help them sign up for them. We show them around school and find their classes. We even walk them through town and show them where students tend to hang out. So we really just help make that transition as smooth as possible, and we happily answer any questions or concerns that they might have. So I actually moved from Denmark my freshman year, so I have a pretty good understanding of what the transfer student experience is like. And I just want to make it as easy as possible for others and, hopefully prevent anyone from getting lost their first day. So our goal is to create a welcoming environment and give each student the opportunity to make new friends with their group members and ambassadors who come from every grade level. So each student can have a group of friends when they walk into school, which is really important to us. Students can also read about our ambassadors on our website and contact them themselves. On our website, families can also read about Princeton and PHS. There is an FAQ page and about Princeton and about PHS page, which is really helpful. We also have a calendar filled with events that are happening in the community and at PHS. That's also where you'll find our meeting schedule. So the PTO has been working with the club for around 2 years now, but our first official meeting will be on September 21st at 7 p.m. over Zoom, which will be with the club. I'll be there with all our ambassadors, around 15 people, the PTO, and any new students and their families are invited to come. So I really look forward to meeting some of you. But other than that, just check out our website. You can scan the QR code on the slide, and feel free to contact me. My email should be on the website. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alina. And what the work you're doing with your peers in this club is directly aligned with what we're doing as a district and as a high school, in the idea of making people feel like they belong and they're welcomed and they're a part of the learning community. And it's such an important service, because if we were new to a place, if we left and we went to another country, we would hope that they would have some type of organization that would welcome us and show us how to get around and learn the ropes. So thank you for your work with that, Alina.
Thank you.
So we're at the stage of closing remarks. Thank you for the 222 of you who are still on the call. I'm really impressed with your endurance. Do remember that this presentation, if there was something in the presentation you wanted to look at a little bit more, that this will be posted on the webpage, and this whole recording will be posted on the webpage. But in conclusion, at PHS, we're going to foster an environment in which students and staff love learning, where students and staff are going to work hard, and continue to grow. We're also going to emphasize that it's important that students and staff take care of themselves and know that there's always support and help whenever they get stuck and whenever they're going through a difficult time. Remember, school is about joy. We're going to have students and staff who value and embrace our diversity and help us as we move toward greater equity, who treat each other with kindness, who have pride and experience joy in school. We're going to live to learn and learn to live. So thank you very much for being at our webinar tonight. We really appreciate it. You diehards who stayed through the whole thing. And I see that we do have some questions. So the team will work to address those questions afterward and have some responses in a document available for you early next week. Thank you very much, Ms. Ligas, for setting everything up for us. Thank you to all the people who took a turn speaking tonight. Normally, I don't like to speak towards large groups of people, but it's a part of the job of being a principal. I prefer much more mixing around and getting to know people and knowing how I could help people. And I know this is going to be a great place to do that. So that concludes our webinar. Ms. Ligas, what do we do now? Look at it. It's dark out there by you.
I know. Actually, if we ended right on time in an hour, I might have still been a little bit light, but it's a little dark out here at PHS. We're good. We can end and wish everyone a good night. I know there was one question about tomorrow that I would love to just address, which was, yes, if you are a student and you came from Princeton Middle School and you can access your COVID screening form and you can fill that out for tomorrow, absolutely, please do fill that out before you come to orientation. I know there are some students who are transfer students who just don't have access to everything right now, or you're having trouble getting through, if you can, absolutely fill it out. If you cannot, we can have the form for you to, for you to self-report when you get here.
Great.
That's it.
There's really nice comments in the chat. I appreciate that.
I have one other thing.
Yeah.
And not to forget our transfer student orientation, because we talked about a lot about the 9th grade orientation. We also have transfer student orientation on the 8th, September 8th. 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who are new to PHS. Those students will be able to have an orientation with Dr. Dinan, her tutoring leaders, and I think some of our student transfer clubs also help out with that orientation, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a little bit different than the regular orientation tomorrow. I'll also say that if you are a 10th, 11th, and 12th grade student and you want to come tomorrow, you're welcome to come tomorrow. There's no reason you can't come. It's just generally geared towards a student who has not handled high school before. So some of it might be a review for you, knowing what you know, because you've already been in high school. But that's really, I think those are my 2 big things that I saw that I wanted to make sure people knew.
And just as a review, September 8th, transfer student orientation, what time and how?
I want to say it's 11 o'clock a.m. Dr. Andrea Dinan is our contact for that program.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, panelists, time to go off. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And for all of our guests, thank you so much for being here. Take care.
Bye, everyone.